Learning today a very brief and I think fun piece of Torah. We're in Parshat Chukat. This is Numbers chapter 19, verse 14. Zot HaTorah Adam ki yamut ba'ohel. This is the teaching or the law, the Torah of a person when they die in a tent or in any building. Kol haba el ha'ohel v'chol asher ba'ohel yitma shivat yamim. Anyone who comes into that building or tent, or anything that's in that tent, any vessel or utensil, becomes impure, ritually impure for 7 days. This is one of many laws having to do with ritual impurity vis-a-vis death, which is considered the highest or most intensive form of ritual impurity, is that of human death. There is a large midrashic tradition which takes this line and applies it to a totally other topic, and actually sees in this line a reference to Torah study, and sort of idiomatically says the death here is referring to a person who kills themselves in the service of Torah study, which means idiomatically that they work very hard. They grind themselves to the bone, as it were, in Torah study. This is derived from the idea that the ohel, the tent, in Jewish thought and Jewish literature is often seen as a reference to the tents of Torah study. And this goes back, is seen early in the stories of Genesis, and Jacob, Yaakov, who was Yoshev Ohalim. He sat in tents, which is seen as a reference to the fact that he was engaged in study. But that's all a focus on the word ohel, tent. Some midrashim pick up on the third word in this verse, Zot HaTorah. This is the Torah of the Adam, the person that dies, an Adam, a person. So what is the definition? What does this come to include or exclude when the Torah specifies Adam? And the Torah Kohanim, the midrashic work on Leviticus, though this is in Numbers, the Torah Temimah, who we learn together every week, cites a midrash from Torah Kohanim and says, Adam lehotzi et hasilonit. When the verse tells us that it's a person who, when dying in a tent, causes there to be ritual impurity for others, this is only true for a person. And this excludes if a silonit dies in a tent. That does not impart ritual impurity of tumah. So what is a silonit? Says the Torah Temimah, a silonit is another way of saying a siraina, which siraina, if you listen closely, is like the Greek siren. A siren that dies. What is a siren? Oh, says the Torah Temimah, hu min dag shechatzav dag v'chatziav adam. This is a being that is half fish and half human, what we in English often call a mermaid or a merman, merfolk, merpeople. And in fact, there is a Gemara in Masechet Bechorot, Daf Chet Amud Aleph, 8a, which refers to this creature, and Rashi there very explicitly refers to sirens, these mer people that are half human and half fish. So this is an idea that was around, that was extant in Jewish thought. Certainly Rashi believed that these were a real type of creature, which I think, from my limited understanding, was not a totally foreign belief in medieval Europe, that mer people were real. That was a real creature. So what does this have to do with our verse here? Torah Temimah says, Harabuta, what's this coming to teach us? Afal pi de'eno kedag l'inyan achila. So we've learned, apparently, it's clear from other sources that a merman or a mermaid is not like a fish vis-a-vis eating, meaning what? Mer people are not kosher, can't eat them. So if you're thinking in this binary, is a mermaid or a merman or a merperson more like a fish or more like a human? Well, they're not like a fish in that you can't eat them. So maybe they're more like a person for this law. Meaning if a merman or a mermaid or a merperson dies in a tent, do they transmit ritual impurity? Answer, B'chol zot, gam eino ka'adam le'inyan tumat ohel. They're not like a person vis-a-vis transmitting ritual impurity if they were to die in a tent. Dekevan dechtiv adam be'inan adam shalem, because the verse says it's a person, an adam. When a person died, they have to be fully human and not half human and not half fish. So merfolk, we learn, are, as we would say, nishkahir and nishkahaim. They're neither in this category nor in this category. They're not fully human vis-a-vis transmitting ritual impurity, and they're not fully fish vis-a-vis they're not kosher for eating. So they're in this fascinating liminal space. And there's actually several animals in Jewish thought which are seen to be in intermediate categories. Some in another categorization is certain animals are considered domesticated and certain are considered wild, but there are some animals in between. They're not fully one or the other. And there's other interesting examples like this, but I had not seen this idea before in Jewish thought, the notion of merfolk, and I was overjoyed to see it here. Just so interesting. Always a pleasure learning with you. More next week.